The other day, I logged on to Amazon S3, and this is what it looks like when I select the S3 service. There's up here in the services, S3 scalable storage in the cloud, S3 simple storage solutions. That's where I started, and this is my bucket video archive. This is where I archive everything, and I clicked on that. Here's my directories. Well, there's 11 objects in video archive Jeff. Happily uploading things at first with the graphical user interface and then with the command line interface using copy and then settling on sync. Just yesterday or a few days ago, I was poking around and I saw this metrics. There's this deep archive staging storage. Look at this staging storage, 291 gigabytes. This is the deep archive storage. And I was about to calculate, how many gigabytes do I really have? I have to go add up the individual folders, which wouldn't be a big deal. But I was alarmed by this deep archive staging storage, and it's taking up half the space. So I want to know how this all works. I read quite a bit, and I went back, and they said, well, when you use this feature called, I'll have to put what the feature is. But anyway, it uploads all the files at once and then they glue them together at the end. And this makes it much more efficient. But if the connection's broken, then there's these pieces that are not glued back together and they just hang out there in storage. And this is what the deep archive staging storage is. My connection gets broken fairly frequently. This is when I started, November 13th. You could see it's going up, and this starts to level off right around here. I'm using the command line sync, and apparently it does a better job at finding the pieces of files and gluing them back together because this hasn't increased. And there's not a lot out there. What there is pretty definitive about how you deal with this. And you need to set up a life cycle policy. Where's the life cycle policy is in management. And I set up this life cycle rules. This is what I named it. It's not their name, it's my name. And I named it Empty Deep Archive Staging Storage. What it does is permanently delete expired object delete markers. You'll have to look up what that means. Incomplete multi-part uploads. You can command Amazon Web Services to upload multi-part uploads. But I didn't know if you were using the GUI or the command line interface, and if a file is over a certain size, it takes it upon itself to upload it using multipart. I didn't know what multipart is. I didn't know that they did it. I am not caring about multi-part uploads. I just want to upload my files. Well, it turns out, let's view the lifecycle configuration. This is, these are all of them. I guess we would have to click this and let's click edit or view details, right? It works on the entire bucket. That's what I named it. That's what I'm trying to accomplish. I'm not sure that it does it. Delete expired object delete markers are incomplete multi-part uploads. And this is the rule. Delete after 1 day. So I set that, and it's been a couple of days, and it does this at a certain time of the day. So let's go back to lifecycle configuration and back to video archive. So that's where that is. It's in management. And if you click on management, that's the only time that you see this. So I enabled this. I'm, following the directions. and the graph just doesn't seem to be moving. Well, the system logged me out and I logged back in. Let's go back to Amazon S3 like the very beginning. And here's my bucket, and here's this tab for metrics, and I'm clicking on that, and all of a sudden this goes to 0. Well, it actually didn't go to 0, but that was my fear, and I'm like, oh no, I have to figure out how to there's a way to log in and use this other feature, which I'll talk about in a minute, and I haven't done it. But what has happened, this looks like there's not another data point for it, but I haven't been uploading anything. This is continuing. My files are still there, but look, this number is 571. Now that makes sense. There's probably 571 objects. Right here they had 20,000 all storage type objects. But these were apparently stranded multi-part uploads that had not been deleted. You have to tell it to delete those. If we go back to this, there is this thing up here called View Storage Lens Dashboard. And I'm thinking, if you click on that, Storage Lens provides visibility into storage usage and activity trends. At first I thought it was only a printout. You can't use it as the root user. You have to set up a IAM role and give them permissions to this storage lens configuration. And there's dashboards. And I take it that a dashboard is more of a visible thing and you don't get a printout. So now it makes it compelling. See, there's all these other configurations you can set it up with. So I'm interested in doing that now. It's not that purpose of this. Metrics, and this is in metrics. Total number of objects. Now there's this CloudWatch. View in CloudWatch. Now you can see there's this deep archive storage. Oh, deep archive staging storage. And you can see it stops right there. Deep archive staging storage. This deep archive storage continues. I thought my files were all gone, but apparently they're there. And in order to take a look at them individually, you would have to restore. And there's cost involved in doing that, but it would still be interesting to know that those files are there without after restoring them. And with this CloudWatch, you can set the time, what you want to look at time-wise, say 3 months. And you can see when I started here. And this is right around here as I switched to the command line interface called sync. Apparently it doesn't leave multi-part file fragments. But now I have this storage lens. That's the thing to set up next. Moral of the story is look in metrics and understand management so that multi-part uploads, file fragments that weren't deleted later on. So what I understand, and it might not be accurate, I will find out, is that when you start uploading and the object is larger, and I think it's 100 megabytes, the web services fragments it. It uploads all the parts, all the files at once, and you can kind of see that because they don't complete one at a time. They complete all at the end. And if at some point in the middle the connection gets cut off, it stores that fragment, and then when you start it up, it glues things back together, but it doesn't delete that file. You have to actually delete the fragmented multi-part uploads. Now my next project is to go back to this, and you see your bucket here. Here's view storage lins dashboard, but you have to set up a IAM account